Boxing Ego here. If you like this video, make sure you hit the like button and also subscribe to the channel and hit the bell icon on the top of your screen to get notified when the latest new content drops. 1. Kell Brook says he'd rather fight Amir than fight for the title. Stay tuned. What up, Fight World? It's your boy Ego, and I'm back with some more boxing. Make sure you smash the like button. Also subscribe to the channel for the latest and greatest in boxing. If you want to become part of the gang, notification gang, please hit the bell icon. Shout out to the super chats, channel donations, the Venmo donations, and the Patreon family. We working. Now, Kell Brook, he's had a roller coaster career in his most recent fights. Obviously, with Gennady Golovkin being his first career loss, he quote unquote dared to be great, jumped up 2 weight classes against many people, voices of reason like myself, and he did it. He held as best of account as he could for as long as he could, and then ultimately he was stopped by Golovkin. Then he was forced to fight his mandatory in Errol Spence Jr., who's definitely a threat, and he got stopped again back to back. Now he's looking to bounce back by fighting Sergey Rabchenko, someone he sparred with in the past, and he's fighting, and this is at 154 that this fight is taking place, right? Now, he did an interview with the star.co.uk, link in the description, and they asked him, if you had a choice between fighting Amir after Rabchenko and fighting for a world title, what would you prefer? Kell Brook says, I think I have to say right now it would be Amir Khan. That would be the more exciting of the two. Also, it's probably easier winning a world title than it is to get him to sign a contract. So that's his opinion. Now, I want to give my opinion. My opinion is, I've always liked Kell Brook. I thought he was very technically skilled, like his demeanor, shows up in shape for fights. He gained some weight, a good amount of weight in his offseason, but come fight time, he's in shape and ready to fight, right? So I followed his career a lot longer than a lot of Americans, you know what I mean? And I actually picked him. The video's still up, people. I don't delete and erase content. The video's still up, and I picked him to beat Shawn Porter. Way back then, a lot of the guys in the US and other channels and stuff like that, they didn't even know who Kell Brook really was at the time. So they were just rocking with the champion at the time, IBF champion Shawn Porter. Anywho, fast forward to the future. My opinion is this. I think Kell Brook has made grave mistakes in his recent career, right? He fought Shawn Porter, crossed the pond, so he got a lot of credit. It was basically what Errol Spence did as a mandatory to him, which is you cross the pond, go and fight in enemy territory, and then you emerge as victorious. You know what I mean? Obviously, he didn't stop Shawn Porter like Errol Spence stopped him, but same concept. Mandatory, you're getting your shot, is a big step up in class, and you're fighting on your enemy's soil more so than your own, right? Then he got stabbed in something unrelated to boxing. They didn't know if he would be able to walk, so he took an easy fight, Jojo Dan, which was a satisfying and mandatory as a new IBF champion. Fine, no one had a problem with that. Test out your leg, make sure it's working. It looked like his leg was fine. He got the stoppage. Then he fought Frankie Gavin. Everyone knew he would beat him. Wasn't really even a mandatory. Wasn't a huge boxing fight. Beat him, stopped him. Then he fought Kevin Bezier. Now, keep in mind, like I said, I followed Kell Brook's recent career. I'm just giving you guys a timeline for those who may not remember or may not know. And he fought Kevin Bezier, a guy Jojo Dan beat twice, right? So allegedly this was his mandatory. Now, in between that, Kell Brook has had a lot of fights that fizzled out. He was supposed to fight Devin Alexander 3 times, and 2 of them, it fell apart because of him, because he was injured. 1 time because Devin Alexander was injured. Fact. He was in negotiations to fight Brandon Rios. Fact. They were arguing over money, arguing over gloves and different stuff like that. The fight fell apart. Brandon Rios went on to fight Timothy Bradley, and he got stopped by Timothy Bradley. That fight fell apart. Another person, Diego Chavez, another great fighter from Argentina, can bang, can box, power. That would have been a good fight. Somehow the fight was made, and I don't even remember what happened to that fight, to be honest. I just know it fell apart. I think it was Kell Brook got injured or something. Whatever happened. The fight fell apart, and then he ended up fighting Kevin Bezier. And then finally, Golovkin was supposed to fight Chris Eubank Jr. Kell Brook was in negotiations with Jesse Vargas, who was then a champion, I believe, the WBO champion. The fight falls apart, and he jumps up 2 weight classes to fight Golovkin. Does as good as he can, as long as he can, and then he ends up getting stopped. Jesse Vargas goes on to lose to Pacquiao, lose his title. Pacquiao loses title, Jeff Horn. So that's the chronological order, people. So that is a little bit uncanny and unnatural to have in the span of maybe 5-7 years or so. All those fights fall apart. Again, 3 Devin Alexander, Brandon Rios, Jesse Vargas, Diego Chavez, right? There's a lot of fights to all fall apart. Like fights that were in negotiations, in late negotiation, stuff like that. So again, the grave mistake I think Kell Brook made is people, from my perspective, people were growing tired of seeing him fight guys like mandatories and people without names, guys that you knew couldn't beat him. Jojo Dan, Kevin Bezier, Frankie Gavin. But no one told you to jump up 2 weight classes to fight the #1 middleweight, Gennady Golovkin, especially at that time. Golovkin was the #1 mandatory without questions. This was before Jamal Charlo was there, before Demetrius Andre was there, before he fought Danny Jacob. You know what I'm saying? So Golovkin was the consensus #1 middleweight. And I just thought that was ultimately a foolish decision. Yes, you got a good payday, but you also paid dearly because it messed up your eye. And some people even believe that his eye being messed up, even though it was a different eye, definitely had an effect on his other eye being fucked up by Errol Spence, a left-hander, when you fought him next. Versus if you never fought Golovkin, you would at least, let's say you lost to Errol Spence anyway, then that's only 1 loss. And it's potentially only 1 eye injury instead of having both of your eyes. Now he's going up in weight to a weight of 154 to fight a guy who apparently is a slugger. I don't know much about Sergey Rabchenko, but from what I did hear, he sparred with Kell Brook and he had some wars with Kell Brook in sparring. So to me, as far as I'm concerned, that's a dangerous fight coming off of back-to-back losses and back-to-back injuries in a weight class that is more Rabchenko's than yours. Rabchenko, if I'm not mistaken, has more fights at around those weights than Kell Brook does. So, I mean, I don't know. I don't know why he decided to do that. Like I said, the Golovkin fight really threw him off track because he was a champion. And even if he were to lose to Errol Spence Jr., I'd rather have 1 loss and 1 injury than 2 losses and 2 injuries back to back, like Drake said. So I don't really know. And then now I think Kell Brook's in between a rock and a hard place. He's telling you, I would rather fight Amir Khan than fight for a world title. And to me, the reason being is he's walking a tightrope. He just came off 2 back-to-back losses. We have to see how he looks confidence-wise, skill-wise, speed, power, how all that transitions against Rabchenko, 154, right? We're going to have to find that out. And on top of that, there's some killers at 154. Jermell Charlo has been putting guys down, mandatories, down. You know what I mean? He's a ripe and big size junior middle, right? Jared Swift Hurd, if you've seen him next to Edeslandi Lara at that Showtime deal, you'll know he's big for the division. Edeslandi Lara, pretty good size, you know what I mean? And he has significant wins at champion. So bottom line is there's very dangerous fights. So now I see why Kell Brook would rather fight Amir Khan than for a title. But it's weird because, like I said, what he's done with his career, moving up to 160 for Golovkin, then moving back down to 47 and getting stopped again because you knew there was so much pressure on you to fight Errol Spence Jr. And then now you're moving up to 54. It's like all over the place. And I think there's very dangerous fights for Kell Brook at 154. And it's going to be weird because Amir Khan has said in the past, unless he changes it, he says if he fought Kell Brook, he's not going to 54. He tried his luck at 155 versus Canelo and he got knocked out. He's been knocked out before, but this time versus Canelo, he got knocked out with 1 single shot, with 1 punch, right? So he said in the past, like I said, unless Amir Khan changes it, he says he's not going to 154. If the Kell Brook fight happens, it'll be at 147. So ultimately, I think, like I said, Kell Brook's in between a rock and a hard place because that's a lot of weight bouncing. 147, 160, back down to 147, back to 154, and then back down to 47, or maybe a catch weight for an Amir Khan. And to me, it's kind of a shame that Amir Khan, even though he's been stopped before, there was a point in time where the Kell Brook fight was really big and really hot because Kell Brook was at least undefeated. And then Amir Khan, depending on what stage he was at or what fight we're talking about, he had some good momentum. Like after Luis Collazo, that was a very good performance, 3 knockdowns after he beat Devin Alexander. So, you know what I mean? This would have been a perfect segue for Amir Khan and Kell Brook to finally fight. This has been something that's been brewing for years. They've sparred in the past. They both trash talk on Sky Sports about what happened and who would win. It's a big domestic fight, but it's sad because I really believe that neither guy wants to lose, which is no one wants to lose, but certain fights more so than others. This is for all the marbles, aside from just a loss. It's for bragging rights, you know what I'm saying? So neither guy really wanted to lose this particular fight. And as a result, I think politics and business and a pissing contest got in the way and they never fought. Now that these guys have got banged up, you know what I mean, and taken losses, now they might fight, you know what I'm saying? So it's coincidental how that happens in boxing. Like, oh, hey, we're ready to fight now. You know what I mean? Kind of reminds me of Brandon Rios versus Victor Ortiz. They should have fought years ago, mid-2000s-ish, you know what I mean? Or late 2000s, whenever. But now if they fight, does it really matter? Because as far as I'm concerned, Devin Alexander should have been awarded a victory over Victor Ortiz. And then Brandon Rios just got knocked out by Danny Garcia. So if they fight, then yeah, it's cool. It's a rivalry. People will watch it. But it loses luster from what it could have been. And I think that's the same thing with Kell Brook and Amir Khan. Even if they do fight and find some catch weight or some weight to fight, or Amir Khan changes and said, I'll go up to 54 for Brook, then it's kind of like you guys waited until both fighters now have losses via stoppage and don't have the same momentum. Because even like Amir Khan has been inactive since the Canelo knockout. That was like 2 years ago. That was in May 2016, if I'm not mistaken. You know what I mean? And he's coming off injuries. Kell Brook's coming off injuries. So the fight doesn't hold the same weight. And they could have been, you know what I mean? To me, I think Kell Brook versus Amir Khan was like Joshua Wilder, but a domestic version before Joshua Wilder. You know what I mean? People just really wanted to see that. Or Joshua versus Tyson Fury. You know what I mean? People wanted to see that. So it's like these fighters and promoters stuff, they got to strike where the iron's hot, because some of these fights, it's not the same. Like I said, Kell Brook, his upcoming fight is it's on a date with, there's a lot of boxing. It's on the night of Jermall Charlo, Hugo Centeno, Andre Durrell versus Jose Uzcategui, Deontay Wilder card versus Luis Ortiz. Sergey Kovalev is fighting against the Igor dude. Dmitry Bivol is fighting Sullivan Barrera. And then on top of that, Kell Brook's fighting this Rabchenko, which, again, from just doing my little research, I don't know much about Rabchenko, but just because of the weight and Kell Brook coming off losses, these could all be dangerous fights for Kell Brook. So I just think there's been some missed opportunities and missteps in Kell Brook's recent career. We'll see how it unfolds. Let me know what you guys think of Kell Brook and Amir Khan fighting now if he gets past Rabchenko. And like I said, now it's just because he's taken recent losses and damage, and now he's going to the division 154 where there's a bunch of sharks there, and them guys are probably bigger than Kell Brook. You know what I mean? I don't care that Kell Brook was weighing almost what Golovkin weighed. He's not, if you look at height and arm length and all that, he's not matching up the same versus Jared Swift Hurd and Jermell Charlo. If they stood next to each other, they will be bigger, because I've seen Jermell Charlo. It's simple stuff you can do. I've interviewed Jermell Charlo standing next to Errol Spence Jr., and Jermell Charlo was noticeably bigger than Errol Spence Jr., right? And then I've seen Errol Spence Jr. sized up and next to Kell Brook, and he was bigger than Kell Brook. So simple mathematics, he's going to be a little bit taller, a little bit wider, and stuff like that. Let me know what you guys think. Drop your thoughts in the comment section. Make sure you smash the like button as always. Hate, comment, and subscribe. Till next video is Ego signing off. So if you enjoyed this video and want more content like this on the channel, you can show your appreciation by going to the PayPal donate button or the YouTube support button, and you can donate any amount that you feel is equivalent to the value of this video. Much more to come. Thank you guys for your support. Boxing Ego, the future of boxing.